humans to float on the back of a submerged crocodile or submerged turtle. They believed in the middle of the world grew a tall tree. That tree was so high, the branches used to hold up the 13 levels of the heavens. They also believed the roots of that tree went so deep it went through the 9 levels of the underworld. The Maya called the underworld Xibalba. They believed when you die, your soul goes to Xibalba first. Your soul has to beat the 9 lords of Xibalba. And after your soul beats the 9 lords of Xibalba, your soul begins to climb this big tall tree. And after you finish passing the 13 levels of the heavens, you end up with the gods. I wish you could see one of these trees when it's fully grown. When it's fully grown, it loses the spikes. But this tree gets really big and it grows really tall. And the unique thing about it, it always has one main trunk. And the branches always stick exactly at 90 degrees from it. I've seen some of them, like at Tikal and Karakol, that have exactly 13 levels like that. Imagine. Later, we will see the high temple. When we see that, you will find out the high temple used to have 13 faces of the rain god. And it had a long palace, a long building that had 9 doorways. Now you know why that building had 13 faces and a building with 9 doorways. Those are magical numbers for the Maya people. 9 and 13.
Why was 9?
Now friends, I want to say a little introduction about this place before we go into the forest. Lamanai is not the real name of this place. The archaeologists have found out when the Europeans came here, they mispronounced the real name of this Maya city. The real name of the Maya city means submerged crocodile. The real name of the city is Lamanai. This is a very big Maya city. It is a very old one. A Canadian archaeologist began to work here in 1974, worked here for 13 years, finished working in 1986. During those years, about 5% was excavated. This city is roughly 10 miles long and it's 2 miles wide. In this city, they found more than 700 temples. Archaeologists found out during the classical period, 40,000 to 60,000 people lived right here. They found evidence the Maya settled here by or before 1,500 years before the birth of Christ. The Maya lived here for more than 3,000 years. When the Spaniards came to Lamanai in 1544, people were living here. The Spaniards came and met the Maya worshiping different gods. As a result, the Spaniards built 2 Catholic churches right here. The Maya people burnt the 2 Catholic churches. They chased the Spaniards. They left and never came back. The British people came in 1864, and when they came, the Maya people had abandoned this place. The British built a sugar factory right here. Because of diseases, because of mosquitoes, because the British were drinking a lot of rum, which is a byproduct of making sugar, the sugar factory never prospered. When was this place abandoned? After the Spaniards came. Before the British came. The Maya lived here, my friends, for a long time. Many Maya cities were abandoned around 900 AD. This is one of the few cities that survived that classical collapse. This is the only Maya site that has Maya ruins, Spanish ruins, and British ruins. never came to walk 10 miles. We never came to see 700 temples. What we'll see today is about 5% of all the city. Where is all the rest of 700 buildings? There is one. There is another one. There is a third one. There is a fourth one. There is a fifth one. Let me tell you a secret. Every time you see a hill out here with me, it's another one. Every time you begin to climb steps, you're climbing another one. There are no hills around here. Got it? What we do today is start and finish the loop here. We want to see everything on this big map. Where are we? Down here. Where are we? Where the two red lines meet. What buildings we came to see? The ones which are labeled. These other ones, how they look like? Like that, like that. So what we do is, from this area, we go to the farthest building first. We're gonna go half a mile to this building. What is the name of this one? The Mosque Temple. When we finish with that, I will start coming down towards the High Temple. After the High Temple, we will see the Ball Court. Then we go see the Stella 9 Temple. Then we enter the Royal Palace. We shall finish by seeing the Jaguar Temple. Stop and ask questions at any time. Participate and I want you to.
So this is where we are here now. These are all the structures that are still unexposed.
Take a look there, and then afterwards look up, and when you look up, notice that there is more than one size of leaf up there. If you have more than one size of leaf on the canopy, it simply means you have more than one kind of tree growing right here. In the middle, there is one tree that has small leaves. Those leaves come from the Guanacaste tree. A long time ago, the only tree right here was the Guanacaste. Some animal climbed the Guanacaste. It could have also been a bird, it could have been a mammal, it could have been a fly or a bee, something like that. When that creature was up there, a seed fell off that animal, and that seed is the seed of the strangler fig. The strangler fig began to grow as an epiphyte. What is the meaning of epiphyte? It's an ear plant. It has no roots touching the ground, but the roots of the strangler fig are coming down towards the ground. You can see them right there, you can see them right here, all on the sides you can see the roots coming down. When the roots touch the ground, it stops being an epiphyte, then it becomes a regular tree. What happens afterwards is amazing. These roots begin to join, they begin to fuse, they begin to strangle the tree in the middle. Because the leaves of the strangler fig is outgrowing the leaves of the Guanacaste. The leaves of the Guanacaste cannot get sunlight, cannot do photosynthesis, and because it's strangled down here, it will die. The strangler fig has grown big enough, it will continue to live without the Guanacaste. When the Guanacaste rots away, what stays is a hole, an empty space. In that empty space is a good place to find bats, scorpions, tarantulas, kinkajous, jaguars, corimundis. A lot of people come, they see the strangler fig killing another tree, and they tell us, why don't we save the one in the middle? What they don't realize is the strangler fig is gonna kill something, but it's gonna provide for something else. The leaf of the strangler fig, the fruit of the strangler fig, is what many animals depend on. In other words, it's a part of the food chain, it's a part of the ecosystem. This place is not Disneyland. It's a forest, it's a jungle out here. How long does that process take? It takes like 50 to 70 years to get like this. How long do I think the Guanacaste deer is? It's a little bit older, maybe 80 years, under 100 years. we'll see more of the strangler fig. The next time you see the strangler fig, call it the love vine. You know why? Once that thing starts to hug you, it doesn't let you go until you're dead. Look up and make the connection. We don't eat horse balls in Belize. The fruit does not taste good. The fruit will split in the middle at the bottom when it's ripe. When it falls down to the ground, seeds get scattered, you have another one like this growing somewhere else. If you would break this fruit, the minute you break it, a white thing begins to come out from the branch that you broke it from. It's very sticky, you use it like glue. If you take a knife and you start making a little cut on the side of the fruit, this thing begins to release a lot of that white sticky stuff. You know, my children love making paper kites using that natural glue. It's really sticky, friends. I'm telling you, it's glue. So don't eat the fruit, you might glue your lips together. Understand, when the Maya lived here, there were little to no trees in the area. This is not a rainforest. It's not a primary nor secondary nor tertiary forest. What is the name of this? An overgrown forest. The Maya people, before they came here, found the forest. They began to clear the forest, lived in the city for how long? More than 3,000 years. Then they abandoned the place, and then the forest came back. You all understand what I just said?
Yes.
Why did they abandon the city? When the Spaniards came, they brought Christianity. They brought new diseases, and they brought guns and gunpowder. In Yucatan, when the Spaniards first met the Maya, they were killing many of them because they were worshipping different gods and doing sacrifices. That news came to Lamanai before the Spaniards came to Lamanai. So when the Spaniards actually saw, when the Maya actually saw the Spaniards getting here, they began to abandon the city at a much faster rate. By the time the British came in 1864, they were all gone.
Where did they go?
Where did they go? In my country today, the third largest ethnic group of Belize is the Maya. I want you to understand, the Maya people are still living in my country and in the rest of Central America. In Belize, we have only 3 Maya dialects spoken, only 3 Maya groups. You cross into Guatemala and they speak 19 Maya dialects. So the idea that the Maya disappeared, the idea that the aliens came and took the Mayas back to space, forget it. Alright, the Maya people are living in my country. If you would have the opportunity to travel to the south of Belize, to the west of Belize, you have high chances of seeing Maya people dressed up in their traditional clothes, speaking their native dialects. If you're going farther in that way, look out for them. Good question. And obsidian. Think about this. Jade is very hard to bore with all the technology we have right now. The Maya people were able to do it. Imagine what they did to something like this. There is a lot of limestone you can find under the trees right here and over there. I just answered 2 questions you could have asked me. What kind of stone did the Maya use to build this city? Limestone. Where was the stone quarried? Right here. It was done locally. This is one of the reasons the Maya built the city here and not the other side. You know, the people built more than 700 temples, and look at the amount of stone that was not used. Think about it. Turn and look back. You'll find a labeled bullet tree. It's very hard and heavy. It's like ironwood. The seeds look like bullets. That's why we call it like that. When you got on the boat, you were walking on a floating pier that had board. When you got off the boat, you did it again. The board that they used to build the pier is bullet tree. When you're climbing the high temple later on, if you do so, you climb using wooden steps. The steps are built from hardwood, which is bullet tree. 5 of you could stand on one of those steps and nothing barely bends. I wish I could find a small piece of that kind of wood. A small piece like this, man, is super heavy. If you take a regular nail and you try to hammer that into that trunk, you're gonna waste a nail, waste your energy. When a bullet tree drops in the river and I hit it to the boat, we stop right there, we stay right there. Wrecks the propeller right away. It's like you hit a piece of iron in the water. That's not good when it happens, man. Knew that the right time to cut this leaf is 3 days before the full moon and up to 3 days past the full moon. When you cut this leaf, those days before and those days after the full moon, the gravity of the moon draws a lot of water away from the leaf. That means when you cut the leaf during those days, there will be little to no moisture on the leaf. But if you cut the leaf at any other time of the year, there's going to be a lot more moisture on the leaf, which means the leaf won't last a long time. A properly made thatch roof can last up to 20 years. When you cut this leaf at any other time of the year, it will only last you like 3 to 4 years. How the Maya people found that out, my friends? Think about it. I gave you smells like many things. A lot of times people say it smells like nutmeg, it smells like clove, it smells like mint, like licorice. It's actually the leaf of allspice. Allspice, many people think it's a combination of different spices, but it's one plant, one tree that gives a fruit. And the fruit is what we use to cook, is what we use to do pumpkin pies, it's what we use to season many of our meats. All right, you want to see an allspice tree? Walk 1 more minute. Everybody in my team, look. Get familiar with it? This is the way the allspice tree looks.
Das ist das Ding.
No competing. When you all finish with this, I'll tell you a little bit of history. But enjoy. When I get turned from one way, I just choose the other way. Okay, friends, take a rest up here with me for a minute and let me speak a little bit about what we are climbing. When the archaeologists came to Lamanai, none of these steps were exposed, none of those sides were seen, none of these pretty walls used to look like you see them. This was a hill covered with dirt. This was a hill covered with trees. Archaeologists tunneled from where we began to climb the first 10 steps. They came into this building horizontal, and when they got to the middle of where we are, they went up and down. They did that to find out, is this thing solid or is it hollow? By making that tunnel, they found a man buried in here. When the archaeologists worked here, there was an opening at the back. We used to be able to go inside to see this human body and the offerings. But those people that went in began to write their names on the walls, and they began to steal some of the offerings. The offerings that were in here included ceramic vessels, flintstones, necklaces made of jade, of bones, of shell, of teeth. The body in the middle of this structure was laying on a bed of ash, Around the body, the Maya built a short wall of limestone. The Maya added wood from wall to wall. They added a piece of cloth that had stucco. Stucco is the cement the Maya used to glue their stone. Then on top of that stuccoed cloth, the Maya added more stone and then sealed it like a cocoon. When the archaeologists found that body like that, right away they knew he was a king. The evidence shows he was buried 500 years AD. When we go down, I want you to look at the faces on the bottom. Those faces are Olmec, not Maya. The Olmec were the people that lived before the Maya. We call them the mother culture of the Maya. When you go down, I want you to see the faces are round. They have swelled eyes. They have a big broad nose like mine. They have thick and upturned lips. We don't know why the Maya people made those Olmec heads. We don't know if the person in here was Olmec. There is another burial under the tree right there. Guess who they found in that one?
Queen.
A woman. But guess what? She was buried 100 years BC. This building is not one building. This is at least 5 buildings, one built on top of another one. I have pictures I'll show you when we go down there. When the archaeologists worked here, people used to be able to go inside of this and they used to see a beautiful red building that has murals and faces. But sadly, they did not appreciate it and they began to destroy them.
No.
And as a result, we can't see that red building. But archaeologists made beautiful drawings and they've provided the guides with those drawings, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we all go down. But one more time, the purpose of this structure was to bury a man. In the past, what we're doing never happened. In the past, nobody climbed this building. Why? This was a burial. This was a tomb, not a market. Understand the difference?
Yeah.
Other buildings had other purposes. When we go to the other ones, I'll tell you more. Questions?
You said the room was red? What
The
was it?
Maya people made a mortar by crushing limestone, heating it, mixing it with water and dirt. That cement is called stucco. It looks white. Around here, there are lots of red seeds. The Maya mixed it with the stucco. Thus, the stucco got red. The Maya people plastered everything with stucco. You'll find out right now how the outside of this building was looking. Smoothly plastered red. Sometimes it was smoothly plastered gray. Right, but really, what makes this, why this building becomes famous is because it has Olmec heads. When we go down there, the faces are not original. They're what? Replicas of fiberglass. If you came to Lamanai in 2009 or before 2009, you would have seen the original face on that side only. Every time it rained, it got wet. Every time people touched it, they left chemicals on it. Because it's made of what kind of stone? Limestone. It began to erode faster. The U.S. ambassador to this country came to Lamanai in 2009. He saw the condition of the head on that side. He gave us the money to build a mold. After the mold was completed, they made the replica of fiberglass. After the fiberglass replica was completed, the replica was placed 5 feet in front of the original face. The original face was not moved, it's where it belongs. The space from the original face to the replica was filled with dirt to naturally preserve the face again. When this replica was completed, the ambassador came back and he saw the good job that was done. He said, "Isn't there another one there?" And we said, "Yes, man." We got more money and they exposed that one for the first time. When we go down, you will find out this building has 2 more faces that we haven't exposed. Maybe we'll get some archaeologists working here very soon, and then we will see the other faces in the building.
Why would you have the steps then? Obviously people wouldn't climb.
All right. The Maya people, only kings, only queens, only high priests would climb these buildings. And you just made me remember something very important that later on you could have asked. If the Maya people were short people, average 4 to 5 feet in height, and these steps were built tall, when the Maya short people climbed these steps, you know how they would climb? They would climb like this, see? They would climb like this. Kneeling down all the time before their gods.
Ah, okay.
So whenever you have an opportunity to climb something again like this, if it makes you want to go, like I always do so, and I never understood why, but it's because maybe I have some of the Maya in me, and one time I read it, it said that's the right way to do it.
Mm.
Get a little bit tighter. Look, can you imagine seeing something like this?
Wow.
You guys back there, give me a minute, please. You see what I meant when I said there was a city at one time?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I was saying. Now, remember I told you there was a red building down there? The red building is not seen. But it looks like that. When was it constructed? What does the bottom say? 100 BC.
So that was the stucco that smoothed
That's
it
the
out.
stucco, that's the red paint I was mentioning earlier. Look, this was covered and this was built on top.
Oh.
Remember I told you the building has 4 faces?
Mm-hmm.
When were the faces built?
500 BC.
450 to 500 AD. See what happens?
By now, all the other faces are flat.
The Maya covered them.
Okay.
Who covered them?
They built a wall in front and covered the faces.
Oh.
As soon as they
Look.
took it out.
Look, they covered the bottom ones also. You see the dates, so they're expanding. See how it's getting.
580. Wow.
Do you remember how many times this building was remodeled? I said it 5 times. How many pictures you see?
Oh, like 9, like 9 levels.
Oh, wow.
What is the difference from construction to the end? When you do the math, from start to finish, what's the difference? It's 1,000 years.
More steps.
More steps.
From 100 BC to 900 AD, what were the Maya doing? Remodeling buildings. If you understand what I'm explaining, my friends, this was found closest to the surface. This is the one the Maya built last. When the archaeologists began to dig, they found this first. If you look in the front of the head, there is a short piece of wall. That little piece of wall is the outer wall of this structure. Because the Maya built a wall in the front of the head and because they filled the space behind it with dirt, they preserved the faces.
Nate,
Yes.
how do we know the Maya didn't stumble across this and then just reuse it and recycle it?
The city is Maya, my friends. The evidence.
Couldn't have
is
existed before them? They couldn't have stumbled across it, especially if they're remodeling
You have a
it?
very good point right there because with the little bit of work that has been done right here, we really don't know who were the first people to settle here. You know, many years ago, we used to say the Maya people and the Olmec people were 2 different bunch of people. New studies indicate one group became another group. You see this stone right here? It used to have writing. It used to record history. Like who this face represented, who the other face represented, who that lady was, who that man was. But because people destroyed that stela, because this stone was left exposed, cannot be read. And then keep in mind, the Spaniards came, the British came, looters have been here. Imagine what was taken out of this place before archaeologists came. We don't talk about slaves at Lamanai. We don't talk about human sacrifices because we don't find the evidence. But it doesn't mean it never happened. But we can't talk about something that we haven't discovered. Well, friends, we got more to see, shall we? The Maya built roads. Each side of the road had a stone wall like this. The middle part of the road was plastered white. These roads were called sakbe. What does the word sakbe mean? White causeways. Look at how wide this one was. The Maya people never had horses, nor cows, nor buffaloes. They never built a cart so the animal can pull it. So no wheels came on these roads. These roads connected buildings, plazas, and cities. Some of them found are 40 miles long. Imagine walking 40 miles with a big basket on your head, with a baby on your belly, with a big bag on your back. That is the way the Maya people traded, using a combination of roads and waterways. This road takes you into downtown Lamanai. We are going to the center of town right now. They're not less than 100 feet away, under the trees, there is a 10-story high building you can barely see. This side of the building and the back of the building still look like that, covered with forest. You remember when we climbed the mosque temple I told you before the archaeologists came? It was all covered with forest. We're so close but we can't see it. Let's go see the side which they cleared. Please bring down all the bags right here. Come together, let me show you two pictures and then you'll see something familiar, something I've said. You ladies on the side, girls, come closer for a minute. Take a look. Top picture is the High Temple, 100 years BC. Bottom picture is the High Temple, 600 years AD. Notice on the top picture, 3 stairways. 6 heads on this side, 6 heads on the other side. 1 in the middle gives you what? 13. These faces are in bad condition. You can barely see where they were. You know why they are in bad condition? They were built 2,100 years ago. The Maya covered all of this 600 AD. At 600 AD, they built this. When they built this one, notice where it was flat. On that side, they built a room that has 9 doorways. Now you can remember when I told you 9 levels of the underworld, 13 levels of the heavens. When the archaeologists tunneled at the bottom of this, they found a palace, a place that has rooms and beds. You'll see one when we move away. When they went to the top of this and tunneled up there, they found bones of birds, indicating the Maya sacrificed the birds on the top. They found more than 5,000 obsidian blades. Obsidian is volcanic. Belize does not have volcanoes. The obsidian came from the highlands of Guatemala. The Maya used obsidian blades to do bloodletting. They also found jade, ceramic vessels. They found a lot of carvings of the Olmecs, indicating this was an important building. The archaeologists know this was a multi-purpose structure. They used it as an observatory during the day and night. And they also used it to do religious activities. This structure was not remodeled 5 times. It was remodeled only 2 times. And it was originally built high. All right, now if you want to climb this one, I see a group up there already. All right, we need to climb using the wooden stairway. We cannot climb in the middle part of this. All right, the wooden stairway has handrails. It's very easy to climb them. And then once you finish climbing the wooden steps, we will come to the front where you see the rope. You can stay at that level, but the view is not good. If you get to the very top, like where you see the man with the white shirt, you can see like 20 miles in every direction. If you look, for example, south, you see how long the lagoon is. You don't see where the lagoon ends. If you look on that side, you see farmlands that belong to the Mennonites. If you look behind this, you see where we came from, which is the north. And then if you look east, you see the lagoon and the other side where the Maya did agriculture. Questions? Are you understanding my English, my friends?
Yeah.
Trees, they use stone tools. While we had people bringing stones, we had other people just taking stones. We had other people that were just making mortar, other people that were just bringing mortar. There was other people that was just painting the building. And then there were people that were just busy
Managing.
with a lot of jade, with a lot of fancy jewelry. And then there was the hard working class, busy working, cooking, farming, planting, fishing, reaping. And everything was done for what? For the rain god. This was built for the rain god, Cha'ak. You don't please the rain god, you live a bad life. Can't do agriculture, can't drink, can't harvest. And definitely because this place has fresh water, without rain, man, wouldn't go good. So that's why they dedicated this structure for the rain.
Is the site still used for Shristopher?
The night catches us here, they don't take us out. They let us finish because we gotta go out. And then we're here at night. It's so unreal. The evidence shows on that side is where the Maya people did raised field agriculture. That's where they grew corn, beans. You call them squash, we call them pumpkins. They also grew chilies, avocados on the other side. South, on the left side of the lagoon, the archaeologists found evidence. The Maya made shallow ponds, and that's where they grew fish and turtles so that they can eat them eventually. Imagine how sophisticated these people were during their time. Look behind towards that area, please. You can probably make up a huge hill about a mile away on that side. That building is 5 times bigger than this one, but not higher. It's just in volume. Look towards the other side. You can see farmlands. All the farmlands around belong to the Mennonites. Try to imagine seeing a place with 700 temples, 10 miles long, 2 miles wide, 40,000 to 60,000 people when you're up here. Used as an observatory, used to do religious ceremonies, my friends.
Well, now we're
Look here.
Oh my god.
Can you like? Oh my God, Mom. It's hard over. Okay, stay there. Puck to puck. The rules of the game are not known. The Spaniards were seeing the Maya playing the game, and what the Spaniards saw is the players used to hit the ball with the shoulder, the elbow, the waist, their thighs, and their knees. Sometimes they killed somebody at the end of the game. Sometimes nobody got sacrificed at the end of the game. What did I tell you? We don't know the rules. We don't know how many people played. We don't know what was the objective. Some people say it was a religious activity. Some people say it was a sport. Some people say it's a combination of two of them. But bottom line is, this is where it was played. What makes this ball court different is what they found hidden under the wrong stone. The wrong stone was flat on the ground where you stand. When the archaeologists dug the stone over, they found a vessel hidden under it. When the archaeologists opened that vessel, they found liquid mercury inside. To do liquid mercury, which is quicksilver, you need something volcanic called the cinnabar, which Belize doesn't have. Cinnabar and liquid mercury came from Guatemala. Archaeologists do not know why they brought it. They don't know why it was put there. They don't know what the Maya were doing with liquid mercury. In all of the Maya world, they found more than 500 ball courts, but this is the only one that had liquid mercury. After lunch, you can go in the museum. When you go in the museum, find the poster that says mercury. Read all of it. It will take you like 2 minutes to read it. When you finish reading it, you will say, I'm right, nobody knows why they did it. When you finish reading the poster, look in front of the poster. You'll see a shelf. Look in the shelf, and you'll see the ceramic vessel that was found here, the liquid mercury in a glass bottle, and the red powder we call cinnabar in a different glass bottle. It's a mystery. We leave it like that. Puck to puck was the name of the game. Be careful, muddy and slippery. Follow me. Up there is a replica of fiberglass. The original Stella 9 is in the museum. If you leave the original Stella 9 where it belongs, it will get like the one we saw in front of the Mast Temple. Stella 9 was located where you see that one. It was then defaced. The Maya people broke off the nose on some of the face. The Maya people then burnt the stone at the bottom, at the base. By burning it, that's where it broke. It broke in the middle. The archaeologists believe the Maya people pushed the stone after it broke, and the stone was found here, face down. Because it was found face down, all the writing was preserved. When the archaeologists found Stella 9, around it they found the remains of 5 children. We don't know who they were and what happened to them. The hieroglyphs on the Stella 9 tells us a bit of information. It tells us the name of the king, the years he ruled the city, and the real name of the city. The dates on the stone are 608 AD and 625 AD, which is a period of 17 years. His name in Maya was Butsolanki. In English, his name translates to smoking shell. By the way, in the back of your ticket, there is all I'm saying. Remember the ticket I gave you after you came out of the restrooms? Everything I'm saying is on the back of the ticket. All right, so Lord Smoking Shell is the name of the ruler. He tells us he became king because he was the son of the previous ruler. And the real name of the city was Lamanai. Right here at Lamanai, they found many stelas, but lots of them are in bad condition. One of them can be read. with the light and shadow effect, you really cannot appreciate what is on the stone right now. But if you would climb and get closer to it, you're gonna see a man that looks to that side. He has feathers hanging from the back of the head. He has either a snake head dress or a crocodile head dress. He has the hands across the chest. One hand is closed like this, the other hand is open like that. He looks towards that side, but he embraces, he hugs something that looks like a sword. All right, this thing had, you know, a face of a god on one end, a face of a god on the other end. This man wears lots of jade. Jade on the nose, jade on the ears, jade on the neck, jade on the hands, jade on the waist, indicating he was a king. All right, now, I don't know if you can climb or if you want to climb, but you can come up at least to the first level. And if you move a bit, it becomes a little bit more three-dimensional. Just remember the green thing makes it slippery. And then keep in mind that the original one is in the museum. The original one is like 3 meters long. It's like 2 tons in weight. It's a huge stone made of quartz. Those of you up there, do you see more from up there?
Yes.
If you kind of move from angle to angle, maybe it becomes a little bit more 3D.
That's the faces looks that way.
Here, opened, like I said, you have the other hand right here closed like this. This looks like a sword. It has some kind of stylized animal with the mouth open and a god coming out of it. You can see the face of the god here. And then it comes down, and it would have it down here again, but it was broken off. Now, this thing was jade. This thing on the nose was jade. This thing was jade. Look at the size of this hand. Look at the size of the jade. See, my watch is not small, but look. This guy, this guy was important. And then you see this thing right here? Big jade thing hanging down like a belt. Alright, but the Maya people, they faced it. We don't know why. They burnt this at the bottom. Then they believe it broke there. And then they pushed it, found down there.
They replicated it exactly as they found.
As much as they could. Yeah, I've seen lots of people read these hieroglyphs, alright, but different people have different interpretations, but the only thing that never changes are the dates and the name of the king. Alright, and then I've seen several people tell us that there is evidence that he was the oldest son of the previous ruler and some of the right things. There are also numbers. I can teach you Maya numbers, Maya writings. That's one thing that will never change. You see lines like these ones, each line represents 5. So if you have 1, 2, 3 lines, it represents 15. If you look right here, it's not really in good condition, but there is a line right here and then a dot. The dot represents 1. So if you have 1 line and 1 dot, you add the 2 of them, that's 6. That's the only thing I can read in. No offense to it. Questions?
What was the average age of the
Back
king?
then, 40, 45. You know, didn't live a long life. You gotta keep in mind, we're hard-working people most of the time. Ball court, we are in front of the Stella 9 temple. Let's go towards the royal temple. We cannot see them from here, but we will get closer and eventually get to see them. The jaguar heads are just holes that are in the walls. They look like mailboxes in the wall. This is the royal palace. If you can remember, I told you under the high temple there is a palace. A place that has rooms, beds, tables. What does the evidence suggest? The first royal complex was located here. The population of the city was growing. So they needed a new place, and this was the new place chosen to build the royal complex. How many people live here? A group of maybe 40 to 60 people. Where did the rest of people live? In thatched roof buildings. What happened to those buildings? They were destroyed by the weather, hurricanes. They were destroyed by fire, by the Spaniards, by the British, and by the locals. You know what remains of those houses? The foundations. You know what archaeologists did? They figured out how many people lived in one house. They multiplied that number by the number of foundations they found, and that's how they got the estimated population of the city, which is 40,000 to 60,000 people. Last year, a group of university students came to Lamanai. They made a hole in the middle of this. They went 20 feet down, and guess what they found? Another building down there. Archaeologists did not know that. That's the latest evidence. This palace was remodeled at least 5 times. I have pictures I want to show you. Can you all come a little bit together and let me show you these pictures. The pictures I'm showing you is the first day I used. These pictures are the latest you can find on YouTube. There is a video you can go and see at the end of the tour. Just type excavations at Lamanai and they show you all of this in a video. Alright, but if you start here, you see the building small, then you see something different. But the dates on this has not been determined. Alright, but just looking at these pictures from top to bottom, you can really see how much times the building changed appearance. And what is even more interesting is, when it got to this level, the Maya people completely covered this with boulders like that. All this palace was covered with boulders like this. This is what the archaeologists tell us. Just like what happened at the High Temple. What happened at the High Temple? Do you remember? I just said it. There was a palace like this. The population became too big, covered that, and what was built on top? A mega structure. They believe the same thing was happening right here. And they needed the location of this to build another mega structure. So they covered all of this. But then what do you think happened? The Spaniards came. The British came. Construction stopped. Are you understanding my point?
Mm-hmm.
Now friends, we're gonna go around and then into an open space. The open space is a courtyard. What happened in the courtyard? The royal people got entertained in the courtyard. That's where the common people did dances and different kinds of presentations. Imagine people that passed this area that used the water. Imagine these people found this city, 700 temples, 40,000. They had to stop here for food, for water, for trading. Every time the big kings, the big queens, the high people used to pass this area, this is where they stopped, this is where they met the people from this city. Got it? Mm-hmm. Now, follow me around and then let's go see the favorite building of me of Lamanai, which is the Jaguar Temple. What they did were stone tools. Flat stones and round stones like this were used to grind mostly corn. The Maya people would make a non-alcoholic beverage from corn called atole. They also made a nice alcoholic beverage from corn called chicha. They also made tortillas and tamales using corn. Everything started with flat stones, round stones known as mano imitadas. You're gonna see a room the minute you enter, a And then you see a bed also. Earlier somebody asked, did the Maya people walk naked? I showed you a picture where you saw the Maya were making cotton material. The Maya people cushioned their beds with grass, leaf, animal skins, and cotton material. Notice this bed is not very big. It's kind of long, but notice there is a next higher level right here, and then there is a bigger bed right here. What was the average height of the Maya? 4 to 5 feet. Look at this bed. This was really a king size bed. I want to share some Maya tradition. I'm half Maya, half Spanish. My kind of people believe when we go to sleep at night, the top of our heads should be where the sun rises. And where does the sun rise?
East.
East. We believe that when we die, when we bury that person, the top of their head should be pointing towards the west. When you go down in my tongue again, if you pass the burying ground, notice all the tombstones are pointing where the sun sets. This is a bed. That's the head of the bed. The head of the people would be on that end, the feet would be on this side. That's a Maya tradition. Look towards this area and use a bit of imagination. Can you make it up? There was an arched doorway. The height tells you the Maya were short people. Ladies and gentlemen, come see the Jaguar Temple. It's my favorite building of Lamanai. Look on the bottom sides, the holes you see that look like mailboxes. Using a bit of imagination, there is a jaguar head on the left, there is another one on the right. When the Spaniards came in 1544, they saw the Maya sacrificing animals on a building. They saw the Maya piercing their bodies and cutting their bodies using obsidian and stingray spines. When the archaeologists began digging right here, they found bones of the white-tailed deer, they found obsidian blades, and they found stingray spines, indicating this was the same building the Spaniards saw the Maya using when they came. This structure was built 500 years AD. It was remodeled 600 years AD, and last remodeled around 1200 years AD. Imagine, the other buildings we've seen were built 100 years before the birth of Christ. This one is not that old. In the front of this structure, you see a flat stone and a round stone. These are original monuments which recorded history. You cannot read them. They're in bad condition. Which is the best style of Lamanai? Stella 9. Remember that. All right, friends. I really want to explain the jaguar head, which is on the left side. Some people can make it up. Some people cannot. But compare the two of them for a minute. Notice the one on the, notice the jaguar head on the left. Looks original. It looks dark. It looks untouched. Look at the one on the other side, and you see a lot of white stucco. It looks retouched. When the archaeologists came to Lamanai, the head on this side was complete. When they went to the other side, that one was broken up. Archaeologists restabilized that one. Each hole you see on the bottom left represents a different part of the face. Since these people are not around, let me take you closer to it now. Come with me. Listen up. This is the last thing I explained on tour. This hole represents the left ear. These two together represent the left eye. This line that goes up and down is the pupil of the eye. When you look into the cat's eye, you don't see a circle, you see a line like that. This is the left side of the face. This thing that bends is the hair, the whiskers that come off on the side. This is the nose. These lines are teeth, the right side of the face, right eye, and the right ear. I met a professional archaeologist the other day, and he said the best way to appreciate the view of the jaguar head is not from the front, steps from the side. Please move to the side for me. Please come and stand some in line with me. A little bit more here, buddy. Make 2 steps to your right. What was the jaguar? Another deity. Remember I told you the crocodile was a deity? The jaguar was another one. Well, friends, believe it or not, we just walked a mile.
Yeah, come on.
So as Nate explained, here's the jaguar face, but you really can't appreciate it until you come to the side. The Jaguar Temple.